followed by a question and answer session once it is over. So I would like to hand over the mic to our moderator, Dr. Al-Bakri. Dr. Al-Bakri, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shan. Alhamdulillah, we've had a good break. I hope you've had a good break too. And during your break, you had thought through some of the questions that you want to ask, inshallah. I promised audience to give them a good 1 hour for question and answers. I also realized that we actually run out of time a bit. So I will try to be as brief as possible in the opening and perhaps just set the context so that we can actually allow parents to ask more questions. And if parents feel that they want to ask questions in Malay, please feel welcome. Even if it's in Arabic, except that we may not be able to answer you in Arabic. But please feel free to ask questions in whatever language that you're comfortable with. In the first part of the forum, we talk about what we believe to be our experiences in the past. Baby was born, early childhood, reading, learning, acting, conditions at home, books that we choose for our kids. In some ways, it's the experience of parents that has gone through, in some ways, quite an ideal condition for children to actually cultivate the learning habits. Right? We have parents here who may not have all the time with their children. We have parents here whose children are already in the age of 8 to 12 or more. So I want to try and ground the second part to real issues and challenges so that we actually can bring back some of these tips and takeaways that can be implemented at our own homes, however the condition may be. So yes, you've heard from the speakers, and in some ways, I thought those are useful sharing, but we want to actually look at the conditions today and the challenges that we face as parents and how we deal with it. So for the start, I just asked one question from here, from the speakers, and then after that we'll open up for question and answer because I realized that it's almost 11. We want to give you 1 hour, 11 to 12 and a bit, depending on the questions that you have. Now, we have among us parents whose children are also in the same age group as your children. Although earlier on we talked about how we interacted with them when they were babies. In fact, Madam Zainab was talking to the child even when the child was in the womb, for example. But now we have children who are in this particular age bracket, 8 to 12. What are the challenges that we have with them? How do we keep on motivating them to read? And read widely. Read Malay books, for example. Read Arabic books, for example. They're not just reading stuff as an aside because of their passion. So I want to try and get a handle on the age group, 8 to 12, not babies anymore, but also a wide variety of reading, including reading that will help them to achieve the academic grades that as parents we want them to achieve. Okay? We'll start off with Madam Zainab first. Madam Zainab, and then we'll pass on to Madam Mariam, and then we'll pass on to both your kids are teenage, so yeah, teenage. We'll give you some time as well, and then we'll pass over to Madam Mariati and Mr. Iskandar. Okay, we'll start that way, one round, and then we'll open up questions and answers. Okay, thank you.
Okay, getting the kids how to read and all that is fine, but how to sustain their interest? Different kids have got different pace of learning, different interests, and after a while, for some of them, for my older kids, reading was a breeze, and they were really avid readers and all that. But for my number 5 child, who's now in secondary 1, when he started getting to primary school, his interest in reading started to wane. So he would read only, for example, newspapers, he would read only football section. And if you ask to try to interest him to read any of the classics or any of the abridged versions of the classics that the older sisters and brothers, he refused to read them because he doesn't find them interesting at all. So what happened was that we were trying to look for something which would interest him to continue reading because he was getting a bit uninterested. And then one of the brothers came back with Archie magazine, the Archie comic books. So, of course, originally we didn't quite like, because we were saying, why are they reading comics and all that, which is not good. But then we realized that if he likes to do it, and Asterix and Archie, if he likes doing it, at least he's reading something, rather than not read anything at all. So we allowed him to read. And after a while, we realized that, yeah, there are actually, Asterix and Archie got some vocabs, which are supposed to be, it's a conversational kind of thing, which is quite good. The only problem is that with reading comics, it doesn't allow you, it doesn't let you have a feel of how to write books, how to write stories. So we were trying very hard to think, okay, how to get his interest going. And it was very fortunate for us, because what happens was that he saw the very first Harry Potter movie. Okay, the rest of the brothers and sisters have read the books, don't know how many times, but he has not read the book at all. He saw the movie, and he got so interested. And when the brothers and sisters were discussing about, how different it is from reading the book, which parts of the book is better and what is in the movie and all that, he got his interest going. So nobody asked him to, he just decided, okay, where's the book one? I want to read. Then he started reading book one. And when he finished reading, he went on to book 2, book 3, book 5. And then after that, he started getting interested in reading again. And he read everything. So now he's an accomplished reader, he reads a lot more things. So the point I'm making is that sometimes kids lose interest, but you have to find a way in which you can regenerate that interest. So it might be something which we do not like, for example, reading comics. But if it does help, better than not reading anything, then we will let them do it, but you have to monitor. Not every single comics allow them to read, And like Harry Potter series, some don't like it because they say there's wizardry in there and all that. But I think once they reach a certain age where we are there to guide them, and we are able to tell them also, that to be able to separate between what is fiction and what is reality and our value system and I think it's fine. Because we grow up reading wizard books and all sort of stuff, but we are fine. We are able to tell the difference. So that's for him. Now for my primary 2 girl, she's in Madrasah Marif now. Reading is again because everybody at home reads, so it is something which is a natural thing for her to do, and she loves to read. And the only difference is that because now we discovered that there are good Malay books. Unlike in the past when my older kids, my eldest is not 22 years old, there was a dearth of Malay books. It was very difficult to find interesting Malay books. But now we found that there are some good collections, good detective stories written for kids in Malaysia, Badan, So we do buy them. Initially, she doesn't want to read. Even my Sec 1 doesn't want to read. But what I do is I try to read one page, or I try to read the story to him because he refused to read Malay. I read halfway, and then when it gets to the interesting part, I stop. And he said, hey, why? I say, you want to know the story? You read it yourself. That is how I get him to try to read Malay. Because otherwise he refused to read. And he gets very frustrated not knowing the end of the story. So to a certain extent, it forces him to read. And for my primary 2, one good thing my husband has done is that he has, because she loves to read, and we want to sustain that interest, what we do now is we actually tell her to write her own books. So we actually make, scrapbooks, teach her how to staple the books, make it look into like a book. It's all blank and say, okay, fill it with your own story, fill it with whatever you want to do. And she loves doing it. So, when I come back from work, now I go back to work because the kids are older. When I come back from work, she will, happily show me her latest story that she has done. And she'll leave blanks here, and that's what I do this for, to illustrate later on. And to show her that, we appreciate and we like what she's doing, I would actually take photo of what she's done and send it on WhatsApp to my sisters and all that. And all the aunties will be calling her and say, oh, I love your story, it's beautiful and everything. So it gets her going. She likes doing it. So she reads more so that she can get ideas on how to write her next book. So that's how I sustain their interest.
Thank you, Madam Zainab. Some very interesting points. The idea of actually reading halfway and then stopping where it's really getting juicy, so that the kids will actually have to read in order to get the whole story untold. Some of the things that we can actually adopt at home ourselves too. Provided we too have to do the reading. Alright, if you don't want to read, the kid doesn't want to read, nobody's going to read. I'm going to ask Madam Mariam about Malay. I mean, the children at home, particularly our children, does not necessarily get excited with Malay books, except that now, of course, we do have good Malay books that will inspire them to read. But how would a 15-year-old girl at home, Frida, started to get excited about Malay books and then now continue reading Malay?
It started when she was way back younger, I think primary 5, primary 6. She didn't want to read Malay books when I came to Irshad, I think there was a book fair, and somebody was selling a book, Ana Solihan. Actually, it appeals to her. I said, try one, because one of her friends brought it to school as well. So from there, she started reading, and then they started selling things from Ana Solihan. And then later on, I found books written by other Malaysian writers, when I watched Malaysian TV, and I told her. And she became very interested in Bahasa Melayu. And Alhamdulillah, it helped her with her Bahasa Melayu. So she was very good in Bahasa Melayu and English. And by the way, she's now 15, she's in Al-Maghrib. And Malay became so good that there was one Hari Raya when we all sat down to ask for the she actually wrote a card for her father. She wrote in Bahasa Melayu, and I was very touched, but at the same time I felt like laughing, like giggling. I said, this girl, nobody does that. But she went down on her knees and read from a card. That shows that it does help. I think for me, I just want the children to start reading, and they love something that they read. They enjoy, because I like to read happy stories. So I encourage the children from there, they will pick up. And as they are growing older, where they want to read teenage stories, I always ask them, boyfriend, girlfriend? No, mommy, do that. I say, no haram stuff. Just tell them straight, no haram stuff. They know. Just tell them straight. Because you still have to guide them. But the interest is there. But I think it's never too late. Because I started reading when I was in primary 6. I started Enid Blyton. And I used to love that Enid Blyton. I don't really read Malay books, not so much, because I didn't come from a very Malay-speaking family background. So it's very difficult. I could speak Malay, but not very nice Malay.
Okay,
Doctor, so I learned to speak.
Stop talking about domestic affairs.
So I just want to tell your parents that when you start reading, make it something happy. And along the way, please, as a mother, I do actually orchestrate, or when I do something, I think, this is going to help them. To sort of guide them without them knowing. And inshallah, they will carry on. And just like my first, second, and the fifth, they read a lot. They like to read. And the fourth one was in Irshad. I think it's a bit difficult for him to read, not because he doesn't know how to read. He's a different sort of person. Doesn't read too much. He reads stuff like, when he's younger, Wimpy Kid. He likes that. And like some guy stories,
Yeah, mystery stories.
Yeah, he likes that because he's more hands-on, so he doesn't want to read. That doesn't help. So I told him that you have to start reading the papers since you do not like to read books. Maybe it's my fault, so I'm not like Sister Zainab. So not all mothers are the same.
Okay, no comparing between mothers. We're going to pass over to Madam Shabna for a while, and then because we want to give more time for question and
I
answers.
just want to tell parents, yeah, we're not the same, so don't give up. Okay? It's the love of your children, just go on.
This is children that are growing up to sustain the reading. Everyone from different interests now.
I remember my fourth son was also a reluctant reader. So among all the 5 siblings, he is really, let's say I ask him to read 1 page, right? So if it's let's say the next page is part of the sentence is only here, so you not continue. You're not continue, just read from the same page. I said, you're not reading, this doesn't make sense. You ask me 1 page at a time, what? So I'll just read that page. So it's a very difficult for me to ask him to read. So among them, but now I think since probably because he's now he has time, he knows that he has to read, he's picking up reading. Alhamdulillah, I see him reading a book, which I'm very happy enough already. So, but for Malay stuff, yes, I remembered that last time it was very difficult to get Malay simple books because I introduced them Malay and English at the same time. I want them to be proficient in both Malay and English. Because at the time I remembered that not only you're supposed to be good in reading in English, but you must also be able to do well in your mother tongue. So I started very early already, so that they can know how to speak Malay well without an English accent like that. So that at least they can go around being, let's say, they can be in the society in the sense that their friends will not find them being outcast like that. With this Malay, this child was speaking like an Amor, right? So so they are able to speak Malay, has a Malay dasa. So, but because at that time Malay books are very rare, so I was forced I was forced books, simple books, 1, 2 lines, kind of in a page. There read 2 lines, maybe there are a few sentences, so that it will instill them to read. But then as they grow older, I find that they are not reading Malay books also, but I make it compulsory to read the newspapers. So I say the Malay Berita Harian. So I say if you are not reading Malay books, I don't see it. Then it is a compulsory for me, or for that you will be able to do well in your school, be able to read the newspapers and make sure that they read the Berita Harian, because mommy has subscribed to Berita Harian, so just read. So it's like a mommy.
How to sustain the reading habit. What I see in my children, they always read, it was not a problem. But how did they keep that interest? I mentioned 2 things here. One is the 2 boys are very friendly, they are very attached to each other. So family time, when it is lunchtime, weekend lunchtime or dinner time, the dining table is very important. I remember the 2 boys are sitting opposite to each other and to each other. So they keep a book in the middle, there's a question answer, quiz book. This is for a long time it was there. They will come with something and one will ask, another one will respond. So one will ask the quiz, another will respond, and there is a competition. So the 2 boys are very friendly, they have been doing it one side. This is one point. Another thing is that we try to, dining table, as I mentioned, is important because 4 of us, we generate interesting discussion, right? Stimulating discussion, like what happened in Singapore today, or what about that book? What about the Nobel Prize, Nobel Award? Who got the prize for literature? Or what book is that? All this discussion was in the family always. They were always interested to know who got that one, who became famous, and we try to indirectly imply it in them that you can be like that one day too. Why not? Because last year, there were nominees from Pakistan, Malaysia, Afghanistan. If people from those countries can be nominated for, Booker Prize Award or Nobel Prize, why not you people? We Muslims should be there, always we are generating in them. And whatever small achievement they used to have, we are stepping on that. See, you can do this. Why not that one? You can do that. And from my experience, I'm telling you, even in India, when I've been working here, I tried to practice the same thing, and I see good result. I'm telling that why you want to be a baker? Why not a scientist? And they said, yes, we can be. And then my students are saying, yes, I want to be a gynecologist, because Muslim women, for their shyness, they cannot go to see male doctors. So I want to help them. So what is important is that we are generating interesting, stimulating discussion in the dining table, the family time. So watching good movies, so that we are encouraging them indirectly. Not do this, do that, you have to do that. You can do this. That man has done. This is coming from very simple, humble background. And why can't you do that? This is how we used to do, and that worked very well. Inshallah. Appreciation. Try to appreciate your child, not always complain. Don't complain. Whatever small achievement they have, what is small, and you stand on that, you step on that. Oh, you have done this, and it gives a big self-esteem in them, and they can be really big achiever one day, inshallah. I think this is very important. Try to appreciate your child. This is very important and has very good, positive impact on them.
Thank you, Dr. Shabnam. She mentioned 3 times, appreciate your child. So I keep on counting the number of times she said that. So she said it with such much passion. So please appreciate your child. I'm gonna ask the speakers to be ready for questions. This is the time that you have to ask questions, so you have the opportunity to ask questions. As I mentioned earlier on, this is supposed to be an interactive session. We want to share your experiences too. We have to learn from you too as well, because what we went through may be very different. Sister Mariam and Dr. Bakri went through very different life experience. You have your own challenges too, which we are going through as well. And perhaps we can also learn from you. So I want to allow Q&A, and then you can ask general questions for which I will say who is the best person to try and start with, or you can ask specific questions directed to specific speakers as well, because you have their articles here. Some of them have actually shared the approaches that they've taken, and you may want to pick up on those points, and you can direct the questions to the speakers themselves, okay? So please, I open the floor. There are mics here. We can have these mics as well. Oh, you have 3 questions already. Can you want to pass to me? But you can also use the mics, and then we can take these questions.
Assalamualaikum.
Can you introduce yourself as well, sister?
Yeah, my name is Salma. My elder son in Alisha. Actually, I transferred the school. In pre-2, he came here. He studied in January. So last time he was in Concord school. There he's okay. I'm not good in English, so please just try to understand me.
You understand?
Thank you so much. He good in maths, English, everything. But problem is Malay. Because I am not in background, my background is not Malay. So my question is, how can I improve my son to understand? Because here also he getting marks this term. Alhamdulillah, all are satisfied. Satisfied means full marks or 2-3 marks less. Like this. But Malay, half. It's a set for me. I'm trying from P1 because I want to shift his school here. So because I want to give him also Islamic study. I need one son. I actually like to my son become a good human. Without a Islamic religious or whatever you, Christian or Muslim, you need your religious knowledge. So I need my son a good human. Whatever he want to do, but must be good human. So I need to put him Malay, must be Malay. In Singapore you must know Malay, otherwise you cannot study in madrasa. My problem is how can I, how he cope his Malay language.
Thank you very much,
This is
sister.
a lot of suffering for me.
Oh, don't suffer too much. We'll help you, inshallah. Thank you very much. We'll take a couple more questions. So that's a question on Malay, particularly for those who are not Malay-speaking families. They want to try and help their children to improve the Malay language. We'll have many educators here that can answer the question. But I want to group questions as well. So we'll take 1 or 2 more, and then we can ask for efficiency of time, and then we can ask the speakers to answer the question. Anybody else wants to go to the mic? Right? Yes, please. Yes, ma'am. Oh, you have, can we bring a mic to her? Thanks.
Assalamualaikum. Saya ingin bertanya dalam bahasa Melayu saja. Masalah saya sebetulnya tidak jauh beza dengan muslimah yang tadi. Masalah saya ialah Inggeris. Jadi macam mana cara yang terbaik untuk membantu anak kita? Sedangkan di sini semua pelajaran ialah dalam bahasa Inggeris. Tetapi alhamdulillah anak saya semua pelajaran okey. Cuma cara membantu untuk dalam Inggeris tu saya ada masalah sedikit. Jadi macam mana cara yang terbaik untuk membantu dia supaya dapat lancar dalam membaca, especially dalam Inggeris lah. Itu saja. Jadi sebetulnya dalam saya not Singaporean, jadi dalam saya hanya mampu membantu dalam bahasa Arab dan Melayu saja. Jadi apa cara terbaik untuk dapat membantu dia lancar dalam bahasa Inggeris, itu saja. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. Terima kasih Puan. You know that. So she wants, you understand. We can swap parents though. No, sorry, no, that was a joke. that was a joke. Sorry. Pair them, not swap them. One more question, and then we can take the answers. Anybody else? Yes, please, go on.
No, Sonia. Okay, I have one son, set 2. He always read whatever I borrow the books, but he's not interested in reading. Do you think should I carry on to borrow whatever book I think is good for him? Then my second question is, my girl, she every time asks me to do bed reading, but I always feel that when I read, but I read only, but she doesn't read. Is it help in this way for her, like become a good reader?
How old is your daughter?
7 years old.
Thank you. Okay, we've got 3 good questions. We've got 3 very good questions. I also have several questions here directed to Madam Zainab and Mr. Aziz, Madam Ariati, and a general question. So
I also have questions.
you also have a question. No, now. This is the teacher. Go on.
Okay. This is with regard to my students. Okay. I noticed that some of them they do not like to read actual books, but they would prefer to surf the nets, read Facebooks, and spend lots and lots of time in the social media world. So, macam mana nak tangani masalah tu? Terima kasih.
How do we solve the problem? How do we address it? Thank you very much. So we have 4 questions. First one is about how to help a kid to improve Malay language. Second one is how to help improve English language. I was fearful that there's probably an Arabic language issue. Then about borrowing books. Mother borrowed books, but child not reading the book. And of course, mother no interest at all. That mother do bedtime reading, but I'm not sure whether that's the good way to do it, given that the child is 7 years old. And then teacher just asked a question on kids are not reading books anymore, they just surf the internet, look at social media, Facebook, and so on and so forth. Sorry, I was just summarizing the questions for the speakers, and then we'll come back to the next set of questions. So I'll pass to on my right, from here right down. Look at the questions. You can answer all the questions if you want, and then we can help and reinforce each other. Or you want to take a specific question and help it out, fine too. Okay.
Okay.
She started to finish it.
Okay, I'll go to the third question first. You were saying that you borrow books, but your son has got no interest in reading the book. And I think that is a problem with a lot of parents, because we want, it's not a problem, I think it's a, let's say, it's a problem. The thing is that you have, the child must be interested in the subject matter. So if you get books which you are interested in, because you want to direct your child towards a certain, genre of books or anything, you are actually doing what you want to do, not what the child wants to read. So, in order for the child to be interested in reading, he must have an interest in the subject matter. So if you are borrowing books which he has no interest in, he is not going to read, no matter how many hundreds of books you read. So what's important is maybe to take the step which Madam Mariati has done. Let the child choose his own books, you choose the other 2 books, so that he sustains an interest in reading. And if you can, you say, okay, read all 4, I allow you to choose 2 books, and let the child choose those books. That is for your older kids. And for the younger one, reading to the child is important because, by reading, the child is able to see the words.